journey's just begun. We're on our way. Pokemon expedition, rising high with no hesitation. Together we'll stand with courage in our hands. The future's ours today. Whoa, yeah, we're on our way.
The morning alarm sounds, causing Pachirisu to stir up from his sleep. But Malik remains asleep. As Pachirisu uses Spark to turn the alarm off, it also ends up zapping Malik, and wakes him up. Malik scolds Pachirisu, while Pachirisu laughs. Malik rolls his eyes, but remembers that today is the day he starts his journey. He's been 15 for about a week now, and can finally get his trainer's license. So, he runs out of his house with Pachirisu and heads to Professor Oak's. At Professor Oak's lab, Malik barges through the doors to find the professor. He greets him, and he's gifted a Rotom phone and Pokeballs. Malik thanks the professor, and he turns to leave. But he's stopped, as the professor informs him he can also pick one of the starter Pokemon on the couch. Malik is excited about this, so he walks over, but decides to let Pachirisu choose. Pachirisu hops onto the couch, and it takes in all their personalities. Squirtle is a rambunctious prankster, Charmander is shy and timid, but Bulbasaur is just what he's looking for. So, Pachirisu points to Bulbasaur. So, Malik takes Bulbasaur's Pokeball and heads out the lab, ready to start his Pokemon journey. He walks through a forest, and bumps into a girl. Her name is Sky. Malik apologizes, but Sky tells him not to worry. She asks him for directions to Viridian City. Malik says he's headed there right now, so he suggests she tag along. Sky agrees and follows Malik. The two get to talking. Malik finds out Sky's from the Johto region, and her goal is to meet and research every single Pokemon in the world. Malik finds this really cool, and tells her his goal of becoming the strongest trainer in the world. As this is happening, Malik trips on a Kakuna. He looks back and apologizes, but it cries out. This causes a swarm of Beedrill to appear. Malik immediately runs away, grabbing Sky's hand and scooping up Kakuna. They eventually get away, but encounter a group of Arbok and Ekans sleeping. Malik and Sky step through carefully, but Sky steps on the tail of an Arbok, which wakes them up. The Arbok and Ekans get angered and start slithering towards them. And Malik and Sky see the Beedrill coming in closer. They find themselves having to run away from them too. While running away, Malik falls, but he picks up Kakuna again, making sure it's safe. They find refuge under a tree. Not a single poison type in sight. Pachirisu sees a berry and uses Spark to get it down, hitting a Spearow, causing a flock to chase after the duo as well. Can this day get any worse? They make it to the edge of a cliff. The two trainers are cornered by the Beedrill, Arbok, and Spearows. Malik sends out Bulbasaur to help out, but to no avail, and Pachirisu is hit with a poison sting, falling off the cliff. Malik sees this horrified and jumps to go catch it. Sky, Bulbasaur, and Kakuna looked at this stunned. Malik catches Pachirisu midair, and as they're about to fall into the water, seeing this, Kakuna evolves into Beedrill. It swoops down and saves both Malik and Pachirisu. They're pulled up, and Malik thanks Beedrill. He states the other Pokemon that it's an accident, and they need to stop. The swarm all attack, and Beedrill teams up with Malik and Sky, and the Pokemon battle the horde of Pokemon. Beedrill attacks with sheer force, working in perfect unity with Pachirisu and Bulbasaur. Eventually, all of the Beedrill, Arbok, and Spearow are taken out and flee. Malik sighs as Beedrill looks at Malik. Malik thanks Beedrill for saving him. Malik compliments Beedrill, stating that it's super strong, and he thanks him for helping out. He then asks if Beedrill would want to join his team. Beedrill nods, and he captures it. Malik and Sky talk about what happened. Sky compliments Malik, stating he must be an experienced trainer. Malik shrugs, stating he only started today. Sky finds that surprising. Eventually, the duo make it to Viridian City. Malik yells out excitedly, causing stares from nearby citizens. Sky gets embarrassed and yells at him to be quiet. Malik apologizes and immediately goes to the nearby gym. Once he arrives, he finds out it's blocked by some guards, who state that the gym leader is not at the gym at the moment. Malik is disappointed, but sets his sights out on Pewter City Gym instead. Malik asks Sky why she wanted to come to Viridian City. She mentioned she was going to visit Indigo Academy. Malik finds that cool, and he asks to come along. Sky pretends to think about it, but eventually agrees. The duo walk over to Indigo Academy. They walk through the halls, and Malik is enamored. It's so fancy. Sky mentions her father, Professor Elm, is an alumni of the school, so once she came to Kanto, she wanted to visit it. Malik has heard of Professor Elm from Professor Oak. Sky is surprised that Malik knows such a well-renowned professor. Malik states that he's grown up next door to him his whole life. Professor Oak's practically family. They eventually make it to the backgrounds of the school, where they hear a commotion. It's Luther, a 16-year-old student at the school. Luther is showing off his psychic abilities, stating he's waiting for a real challenge. Malik hears this and walks over. "I'll battle you." The students all murmur at this. "You want to battle me? Luther the Magnificent?" Malik nods his head and says he does, unless Luther is scared. Luther gets angry at this and agrees to a battle, but says he wants it to be a double battle. Malik says it's on, and the battle begins. Luther sends out his two Pokémon in Psyduck and Mr. Mime. Malik then sends out Pachirisu and Beedrill. Luther calls out for Mr. Mime to use Light Screen, and for Psyduck to use a Water Gun. The two moves do some damage, but not enough for major. Malik commands Sparky to use Nuzzle on Psyduck, and for Veska to use Twin Needle on Mr. Mime. Pachirisu darts forward, shocking Psyduck before it can react. The duck flailed and squealed, stunned in place. Meanwhile, Veska zipped around the light screen, and each hit forced Mr. Mime back. Luther calls out for Psyduck to use Confusion, and Psyduck's eyes squinted, managing a brief attack that hit Pachirisu hard. Malik yells out for Pachirisu to finish it off with Spark. Psyduck is now unable to battle. Luther's smile faltered slightly. He called out to Mr. Mime to use Double Slap. Mr. Mime lunged in with a surprisingly fast Double Slap, but Beedrill didn't flinch. Malik called out for Veska to use Drill Run, and for Sparky to support with Quick Attack. The Beedrill spun forward like a bullet, and struck Mr. Mime hard. Pachirisu darted past to add extra shove, and Mr. Mime is unable to battle. The winners are Malik's Pachirisu and Beedrill. Luther stood frozen as the crowd applauded. Luther is dumbfounded. But how? Malik tells Luther he was a strong opponent, but maybe he'd do better in contest. For the first time, Luther looked conflicted. He thought he was the best. He glances at his fainted partners, and then back at Malik, deciding he might need a little more practice next time. Suddenly, an alarm blares, signaling that Pokémon are being stolen from the school. Malik, Sky, and Luther rush inside to find out what's happening. They enter the storage room to find Team Rocket. The two address themselves as Attila and Hun. They're here to steal the Academy's Pokémon, and while they're at it, these meddling kids' Pokémon as well. The trio get angered and send out their Pokémon to battle. The battle erupted instantly. Slowbro and Skarmory immediately fire attacks. Slowbro fired Confusion towards Pachirisu, but the Electric Squirrel zigzagged away with Quick Attack. Meryl leapt forward with Aqua Tail, catching Skarmory by surprise and forcing it off balance. Mr. Mime protected Meryl just in time by blocking Skarmory with Light Screen. Malik's voice was quick and sharp. "Spark, now!" Pachirisu surged forward and is slammed into Slowbro. Attila called for Water Pulse, but the attack went wide, shattering a life above. Hun yelled out, "Steel Wing." Skarmory dove for Meryl, but Luther cut it with a command, Mr. Mime's psychic grabbed the bird midair, slamming it down to the floor with a heavy clang. Sky seized the moment. Double Edge. Meryl rocketed forward, striking Slowbro with enough force to send it sprawling into a shelf. Pachirisu darted in right after, with another spark to seal the deal. Both Slowbro and Skarmory have fainted. Hun growled, scooping up Skarmory's Pokeball. This isn't over. Attila silently recalled Slowbro and followed him towards the exit. Malik goes to chase after them, but they disappeared. Later on, they're praised by the students in the school, thanking them for saving the Pokemon. As Malik and Sky go to leave, Luther yells out at them to wait up. He explains he wants to come along on their travels. Up until now, he thought he was the best of the best, but after battling Malik, he realized he's not that great, and he needs to do a lot more training. He then inquires if that would be okay. Malik says it would, and allows him to join their travels. Malik, Sky, and Luther then make their way towards Viridian Forest. As the new trio trek through the forest, they're eventually met by a boy in a samurai costume. He says his name is Samurai. He claims that he's battled all the trainers of Pallet, so he challenges Malik to a battle. Malik asks how he knew he was from Pallet Town. Samurai states it was a lucky guess. Sky and Luther chuckle a bit at Samurai's outfit. Malik tells them to be nice, and they quiet down. Malik accepts the battle as he and Samurai take their places. The two send out their Pokemon. Malik sends out Bulbasaur, and Samurai sends out Pinsir. Malik knows that he's gonna have the type disadvantage, but he proceeds anyways. Pinsir charged forward using Vice Grip. Bulbasaur leapt aside just in time, countering with Vine Whip, forcing the bug to escape lightly. Pinsir swung again, with its pincers snapping dangerously close to Bulbasaur's head. Malik's command came in quickly, Leech Seed. The seed bursts against Pinsir's chest and wrapped around its shell. Energy began to drain away, but Pinsir roared and powered forward, dragging Bulbasaur with it. Samurai shouted for Seismic Toss. Pinsir lunged, clamping onto Bulbasaur and lifting it high before slamming it down into the dirt. Bulbasaur groaned, but pushed itself up. With its eyes narrowing, at Malik's signal, it unleashed a Razor Leaf. Pinsir staggered. With the vine still draining its strength, it prepared another Vice Grip. Bulbasaur ducked, then surged forward with a full-force tackle that drove Pinsir backward. The bug let out a final roar before collapsing on the forest floor, unable to battle. Samurai recalled his Pokemon silently. Samurai straightens up and thanks Malik for the battle. Just then, Malik's Rotom phone is stolen by a Mankey. Malik chases after it, and while he does that, Sky and Luther follow Samurai to his home. Sky and Luther arrive at a very nice little home in the woods. Samurai welcomes them in. They ask about why he lives in Viridian Forest, so he explains. He himself used to live in Pallet Town. He had just gotten Charmander from Professor Oak. He and Charmander had set out to Viridian Forest. Although he wasn't the best trainer, he just battled and lost to the gym leader in Viridian City. So he came to the forest to train. Suddenly, he was attacked by a Pinsir. He and Charmander were powerless. He set up camp, and later that night, Charmander abandoned him. He knew deep down inside he was too weak for it, so he vowed to make sure that all the new children of Pallet Town don't ever have to go through what he did. Luther then asked, "Is the Pinsir he has now the same one?" Samurai nods. Me and Pinsir had a rocky start, but it's the best friend he could ever ask for. And if Charmander ever does come back to them, it'll be welcomed with open arms. Sky and Luther find the story to be inspirational, and apologize for their earlier remarks. Samurai shrugs it off. Don't worry, you're not the first one to make fun of my getup and surely won't be the last. Meanwhile, Malik is not having a good time. He's feeling a bit airsick, as he's airborne with Beedrill trying to chase after the Mankey. He looks down and locates it. He commands Beedrill to descend into the tree, so they can sneak up on it. Malik lands in the tree and watches as Mankey gives his Rotom phone as a sort of sacrifice to a Charizard? What is it doing in the middle of Viridian Forest? The Charizard is sleeping. Malik decides this is the perfect time to strike. He tries to land like a superhero, but falls flat on his face. Mankey chuckles, which wakes up Charizard, causing it to rampage. Mankey runs behind Malik and taps a Pokeball on his belt. The Pokeball shakes once, twice, and clicks shut. Charizard sets his gaze on Malik. It shoots out a flamethrower, and Malik runs away as fast as he can. He eventually catches up with his friends. He's out of breath and tries to warn them about the Charizard, but it's too late, and the Charizard is caught up to him. Samurai recognizes the Charizard as his old partner. They notice a pinkish hue in his eyes. Samurai says this is not normal, and that they need to take it on in a raid battle. Malik, Sky, and Luther nod as they send out their Pokemon. Malik sends out Mankey, Sky sends out Meryl, Luther sends out Psyduck, and Samurai sends out Pinsir. Charizard roars as Mankey launches itself straight at the dragon's face with Brick Break. Lands a hit before Charizard's wiped it out of the air with Dragon Claw. The pig monkey hit the dirt hard and didn't get back up. Malik returns Mankey reluctantly, stating they'll need to do a lot more training. Meryl spun into Aqua Tail, slamming into Charizard. The dragon snarled and whipped around and unleashed Flamethrower. The torrent of fire destroyed Meryl in seconds, knocking it unconscious. All the battling gave Psyduck a headache. Then its eyes glowed blue. Confusion erupted, forcing Charizard to stumble. For a moment, it looks like it might be working, until Charizard shook it off and hit Psyduck with a point-blank Dragon Claw. Only Samurai's Pinsir remained. The bug type stood for a moment. Samurai is very sad to do this, but he tightens his hand around the Mega Stone on his sword. The keystone flashed. Pinsir's body glowed and expanded. Mega Pinsir hovered above the ground. The trio are amazed. What is this? Charizard lunged with another Dragon Claw, but Mega Pinsir vanished in a blur and uses Quick Attack into X-Scissor. The bug slammed into Charizard's chest with enough force to drive it backward into a tree, splitting the trunk in two. Charizard roared and launched a Fire Blast. Pinsir dodged midair, weaving through the blast, before diving in with High Jump Kick that landed square on Charizard's jaw. The dragon crashed to the ground, kicking up a cloud of ash and dirt. When the dust cleared, Charizard was down. Mega Pinsir hovered above, before slowly touching back to the ground. Samurai exhaled. He then runs up to Charizard. He asks if Charizard recognizes him. Charizard nods and licks his face. Samurai apologizes to Charizard for not being strong enough. He would ask if Charizard would want to rejoin his team. Charizard looks at Samurai, then to our heroes, and lastly Pinsir. Charizard nods, and Samurai hugs Charizard. Samurai thanks our heroes for bringing his friend back. He tells Malik that he has great potential. He informs him that he was the only pallet trainer that beat him, even with a type disadvantage. He tells Malik he's excited to see him compete in the league.